The basement door hit my spine before I even understood what was happening. Well, that's what I remember first. Not the shove itself, but the metal doorknob pressing into the small of my back as I stumbled backward down the first 3 steps. My hip caught the railing and I grabbed it with both hands, nails scraping wood, breath gone from my lungs in one sharp gasp. "You think I don't know what you're doing?" Rachel's voice came from above me, and when I looked up, she was silhouetted against the hallway light. Her hair was loose around her shoulders. She was wearing that silk robe I'd bought her last Christmas. The one she said was too expensive. "You think I'm stupid?" My heart was beating so hard I could feel it in my throat. "I'm 73 years old. I raised 3 boys in this house. I buried my husband in the cemetery 6 blocks away after 48 years of marriage. And I was standing on my basement stairs at 3 in the morning, looking up at my daughter-in-law like a child caught stealing cookies." "Rachel." My voice came out smaller than I wanted. "What are you talking about?" She took 1 step down. The stair creaked under her weight. That's when I smelled it. Wine. Sharp and sour even from 5 feet away. "Don't play games with me, Norma." She said my name like it tasted bad. "I saw you. At dinner. Watching me. Writing in that little notebook of yours." The notebook. My chest tightened. I'd been keeping track. Small things. The way she'd started answering Michael's phone when he was in the shower. The credit card statement I'd seen on the counter with charges from a hotel downtown. A hotel. When they lived right here in this house with me. "I was just making a grocery list," I said. "Before I go further, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. And if you're hooked already, a like and subscribe will keep these stories coming." Rachel laughed. It wasn't a nice sound. She came down another step and another, and I backed down with her, my slippers catching on the rough wood. The basement stretched behind me. Dark. Harold had never finished it properly. Always said he would. Concrete floor. Exposed beams. The furnace humming in the corner like something alive. A grocery list. Rachel tilted her head. "You know what I think, Norma? I think you're getting confused. I think you're seeing things that aren't there. Making up stories." "I'm not confused. Michael thinks you are." She was on the landing now. Close enough that I could see her eyes. They were red at the edges. "He's worried about you. We both are. The way you forget things. The way you wander around at night. Last week you left the stove on." That wasn't true. I never left the stove on. But Michael had asked me about it. Had sat me down at the kitchen table with his serious face and his gentle voice and asked if I remembered making tea at 2 in the morning. I hadn't. Because I hadn't done it. "Rachel, please." I held up one hand. "Let's go back upstairs. We can talk about this in the morning. We're talking about it now." She moved closer. I could see the wine stain on the collar of her robe. "You need to understand something. This is my house now. Mine and Michael's. You're here because we let you be here. Because we're good people. But if you keep causing problems." She didn't finish the sentence. She didn't have to. My back hit something solid. The washing machine. I'd reached the basement floor without realizing it. The concrete was ice cold through my slippers. Above us, the single bulb hanging from the ceiling swayed slightly, making shadows dance across Rachel's face. "I'm not causing problems," I whispered. "I just want." "You want what?" "To split us up. To make Michael think I'm doing something wrong." She was right in front of me now. Close enough to touch. "Let me tell you something about your son, Norma. He loves me. Not you. Me. And if you try to get between us, if you try to poison him against me, I will make sure everyone knows exactly what you are." "What I am." An old woman losing her mind. She smiled. It was the cruelest thing I'd ever seen. Paranoid. Delusional. Making up stories about her own family. They have homes for people like that. Nice quiet homes where people take care of you. Where you can't hurt yourself or anyone else. The air felt too thick to breathe. I thought about Michael upstairs in bed. Sleeping. Trusting. He didn't know his wife was down here threatening his mother. Or maybe he did know. Maybe he'd heard her come down the stairs and rolled over and gone back to sleep. No. Not my Michael. Not my boy. "You can't do this," I said. My voice was steadier now. Stronger. "Michael would never." "Michael would never what?" "Choose me over you." Rachel's laugh was sharp. "He already has Norma. Why do you think we moved in here after Harold died? It wasn't charity. Michael wanted to sell this place. I'm the one who said we should stay. I'm the one who convinced him his poor old mother needed looking after. She leaned in close. Her breath was hot against my face. And I can convince him of other things too. Something in my chest twisted. Fear. Anger. Something worse than both. The furnace kicked on with a loud clunk that made us both jump. Hot air rushed through the vents. I could smell dust burning. Rachel stepped back, smoothing her hair, her face shifting back into something calmer. Almost normal. Go to bed, Norma, she said softly. And tomorrow we're going to have a family meeting. The three of us. We're going to talk about your health. About the future. About what's best for everyone. She turned toward the stairs. Oh, and Norma, if you mention this conversation to Michael, I'll tell him you attacked me. That you came at me in the middle of the night, confused and violent. Who do you think he'll believe? She climbed the stairs slowly. Deliberately. At the top she paused and looked back at me. Sweet dreams. The door closed. The lock clicked. I stood there in the basement in my dead husband's unfinished project, surrounded by boxes of old photos and Christmas decorations and all the accumulated weight of a life lived in one place. My hands were shaking. My hip throbbed where I'd hit the railing. But I wasn't crying. Because Rachel had made one mistake. One crucial stupid mistake. She thought I was just a confused old woman. She thought Harold's security business had died with him. She thought when we'd shut down the company 3 years ago we'd disconnected everything. He thought wrong. I looked up at the corner of the basement, where the shadow of a beam met the ceiling. There, barely visible in the dim light, was a small black dome no bigger than a smoke detector. The little red light inside it was blinking. Steady. Patient. Recording. Harold had installed cameras all through this house 20 years ago. Top-of-the-line equipment. Hidden in smoke detectors, in vents, in light fixtures. He'd been paranoid after a string of break-ins in the neighborhood. We'd never taken them down. Never needed to. After he died, I'd kept paying the monitoring service without thinking much about it. Automatic payment. $29.99 a month. Cloud storage. 72 hours of rolling footage. Rachel had just given me everything I needed. But as I stood there, as the relief started to flood through me, I heard something else. Footsteps. Above me. In the kitchen. Moving fast. Then Michael's voice muffled through the ceiling. Rachel? Rachel, what are you doing? A crash. Glass breaking. Oh my God. Michael, call 911. Call them now. My blood went cold. It's your mother. Michael, she's gone. The front door's wide open. I think she wandered outside. I couldn't move. My feet were frozen to the concrete floor, my breath coming in short, painful gasps. Above me, Rachel's voice climbed higher, sharper, each word a knife. I heard something and came downstairs. She was confused, Michael. Talking about people following her. She pushed past me and ran outside. I tried to stop her, but, oh God, what if she's hurt? What if she falls? Michael's voice was thick with sleep and panic. I heard him running. Through the kitchen. Down the hallway. The front door banging open. Norma. Mom, where are you? Rachel had locked the basement door. I was trapped down here while she convinced my son I'd lost my mind and wandered into the October night. While she set the stage for whatever nightmare she'd been planning. The family meeting. The concerns about my health. The suggestion of a nice, quiet home. My hands were still shaking, but something else was rising up through the fear. Something cold and sharp and clear. I knew what she was doing. And I had proof. But first I had to get out of this basement. I climbed the stairs slowly, my hips screaming with each step. At the top I pressed my ear against the door. Footsteps overhead. Rachel's voice again, lower now, almost crying. Maybe we should check the street. He could be anywhere. Michael, I'm so sorry. I should have heard her sooner. I should have. This isn't your fault. Michael's voice was rough. I'm calling the police. No. Not yet. Not until I could talk to him first. I tried the doorknob again, gentle this time, testing. Still locked. It was an old door, original to the house. Harold had replaced almost everything over the years except the basement door. Said it had character. The lock was simple. The kind you could open with a butter knife if you knew how. If you were younger. If your hands didn't shake. If you had a butter knife. I looked down at my slippers. Cotton. Useless. Then at my nightgown. No pockets. Nothing but the thin fabric and the cold air raising goosebumps on my arms. Norma. The basement stretched behind me. Boxes. Old furniture. Harold's workbench against the far wall. I turned and went back down, moving faster now despite the pain. The furnace light gave just enough glow to see by. Harold's tools. He kept everything organized. Labeled. Screwdrivers in one drawer. Hammers hung on hooks. And there, on a pegboard above the bench, a ring of old keys. Keys to doors we didn't have anymore. Locks we'd changed. But also, my fingers found it. A thin piece of metal. Not quite a key. A lockpick. Harold had shown me once years ago how to use it. We'd locked ourselves out of the bedroom after a fight about something stupid, something I couldn't even remember now. He'd jimmied the lock and we'd laughed about it after. Every good security man knows how to break in, he'd said. That's how you learn to keep people out. I took the pick and climbed back up, slower this time, saving my strength. At the door I knelt down. My knees cracked. Everything hurt. But my hands were steady now. The lock was simple. I slid the pick in, felt for the mechanism, remembered Harold's patient voice in my ear. Gentle pressure. Don't force it. Listen for the click. There. The lock turned. I eased the door open an inch. 2 inches. Enough to hear clearly now. Michael was in the living room. I could hear him on the phone. Yes, police. My mother is missing. She's 73 years old. She left the house about 10 minutes ago. She might be confused. Rachel's voice cut in. Tell them she hasn't been sleeping. Tell them about the stove incident. She's been having some memory issues, Michael continued. We're worried she might not know where she is. I opened the door wider and stepped into the hallway. The house I'd lived in for 45 years felt different now. Darker. The family photos on the walls watched me pass like strangers. Michael and his brothers as children. My wedding day. Harold in his uniform from the army. I moved toward the living room, keeping to the shadows. Through the doorway I could see them. Michael in his pajama pants and t-shirt, phone pressed to his ear, running his free hand through his hair the way he always did when he was stressed. Rachel beside him in that silk robe, one hand on his shoulder, her face a perfect mask of concern. She looked up. Her eyes met mine. For 1 second her mask slipped. I saw the real Rachel underneath. Calculating. Caught. Then she screamed. Michael! She's here. Oh, thank God she's here. Michael spun around. The relief on his face almost broke me. Mom. Jesus, Mom, where were you? He crossed the room in 3 steps and pulled me into a hug. He smelled like the laundry detergent I'd used since he was a baby. Like home. Like my boy. I was in the basement, I said quietly. Rachel made a small sound. Almost a laugh. Almost a gasp. The basement? But I checked the basement. You weren't. I was there the whole time. I looked at her over Michael's shoulder. The door was locked. From the outside. Michael pulled back, his hands on my shoulders, his face confused. Locked? Mom, the basement door doesn't lock from the outside. It's just a regular knob. Tell them I found her outside, Rachel said quickly. Tell the police it's okay. False alarm. But Michael was looking at me. Really looking. At my face. At my nightgown. At my slippers, dusty now from the basement floor. Why were you in the basement at 3 in the morning? He asked. This was it. The moment. I could tell him everything. Tell him about Rachel pushing me down the stairs, about her threats, about the cameras. I could destroy his marriage right here, right now with the truth. But Rachel was already moving. Already adjusting. Her face crumpled. Tears, real tears, started rolling down her cheeks. Michael, I'm so sorry. I didn't want to worry you, but... She took a shaking breath. Your mother came into our bedroom tonight. She was standing over us. Just staring. I woke up and there she was in the dark. It scared me so badly I might have overreacted. I asked her to go back to bed and she got upset. Said I was trying to control her. She went downstairs and I thought she'd gone back to her room, but... That's not what happened. My voice came out harder than I intended. That's not even close to what happened. Michael's hands dropped from my shoulders. He looked between us. His mother. His wife. Then what did happen? The words stuck in my throat, because I knew how they would sound. An old woman accusing her daughter-in-law of pushing her down the stairs in the middle of the night. Of threatening her. Of locking her in the basement. while the daughter-in-law said she was confused, making things up, losing her mind. Rachel sniffled, wiped her eyes. I think your mother needs to see a doctor, Michael. I think she needs help. I don't need help. But even as I said it, I could hear how it sounded. Defensive. Like exactly what a confused person would say. Michael's phone buzzed. He looked down at it. The police are on their way. To make sure you're okay. He said it gently. The way you talk to a frightened animal. I'm fine. I'm perfectly fine. Rachel is lying. Norma, please. Rachel's voice was so soft now. So hurt. I know you're upset with me. I know you don't like that Michael and I got married so quickly. But I love him. And I love you. We're family. We just want to help you. He was good. God, she was good. I give her that. Michael sat down on the couch. Put his head in his hands. I can't do this right now. It's 3:30 in the morning. Everyone's upset. Mom, can you go to your room? Get some rest. We'll talk about this tomorrow. Michael. Please, Mom. The way he said it. Tired. Defeated. Like I was the problem. Like I was the one causing all this pain. I looked at Rachel. She was watching me with those red-rimmed eyes. Waiting. Daring me to push harder. To sound crazier. To prove her point. Fine, I said. I'll go to my room. I turned and walked down the hallway. Past the family photos. Past Harold's office, empty now except for boxes. To the small bedroom at the end that used to be Michael's when he was young. The room I'd moved into after Harold died because I couldn't sleep in our old bed anymore. I closed the door. Sat on the edge of the bed. Listened to the murmur of voices from the living room. Then I heard the doorbell. The police. I should have gone out there. Should have told them everything. But what would I say? My daughter-in-law pushed me down the basement stairs and I have no marks to prove it? She threatened to put me in a home and it's her word against mine? She's having an affair and I saw hotel charges on a credit card that wasn't mine to look at? No. I needed to be smarter than that. I waited until I heard the front door close again. Until the house went quiet. Until I was sure Michael and Rachel had gone back to bed. Then I pulled out my phone. The smartphone Michael had given me last year. The one I'd spent 6 months learning how to use. The one Rachel thought I was too old and confused to operate properly. I opened the app. The one the security monitoring company had sent me. The one I downloaded but never really explored because Harold had always handled the technical things. The login screen appeared. I typed in my email. Then I stopped. What was the password? Harold had set up the account. I'd never needed to access it before. The bills just came and I just paid them. What would Harold have used? I tried his birthday. Incorrect. Our anniversary. Incorrect. My hands were sweating now. The phone screen was too bright in the dark room. I squinted at it. One more try, then the account would lock for security reasons. What would Harold have used for a password? Something important. Something he wouldn't forget. Something about the business. About security. About home. I typed. Norma 1952. The year we got married. The app opened. And there was. Camera feeds. Dozens of them. Every room in the house. The front door. The back door. The basement. I found the basement camera. Scroll back to 3M. Pressed play. The image was grainy but clear enough. Clear enough to see Rachel at the top of the basement stairs. Clear enough to see her hand on my back. Clear enough to see me stumble. Clear enough to hear every word she'd said. You think I don't know what you're doing? I watched it twice. 3 times. Memorizing. Planning. Then I scrolled forward. To the moment Rachel had gone back upstairs. To her in the kitchen. To her opening the cabinet and pulling out a wine glass. The one she'd drink from later to make it look like she'd been drinking all night. To her standing in the living room looking around planning her next move. To her taking the spare key from the junk drawer and going to the basement door. Locking it from the outside. I had everything. Every single piece. But I couldn't just show Michael. Not yet. Rachel was right about one thing, he loved her. He'd make excuses. He'd want to believe there was some misunderstanding. He'd want to fix it without destroying his marriage. But I needed more than just the truth. I needed Rachel to destroy herself. A soft knock on my door made me jump. I shoved the phone under my pillow. Mom. Michael's voice. Can I come in? I stood up. Smoothed my nightgown. Open the door. He looked terrible. Exhausted. Lost. I'm sorry, he said. About before. I shouldn't have. I'm just tired. We're all tired. It's okay, sweetheart. Is it true? About Rachel coming into our room? About you being in the basement? This was it. I could tell him. Show him the footage. And this now. But something made me hesitate. Some instinct. Because Michael was asking, but there was something else in his voice. Something that said he wasn't sure he wanted to know the answer. We'll talk tomorrow, I said instead. At the family meeting. He nodded slowly. Yeah. Tomorrow. He started to turn away, then stopped. Mom, do you like Rachel? The question caught me off guard. Michael. Because sometimes I think. He stopped. Shook his head. Never mind. Forget it. Get some sleep. He walked back down the hallway. I watched him go. Watched him pause outside his own bedroom door like he was gathering strength to go inside. Then I closed my door. Pulled out my phone again. And started downloading the footage. Every minute from the past 72 hours. Every room. Every conversation. It took 20 minutes. 20 minutes of watching the upload bar crawl across the screen while my heart hammered in my chest. When it finished, I created a backup. Sent it to my email. To the cloud. To everywhere I could think of. Because tomorrow at that family meeting, Rachel was going to try to convince Michael I needed help. Professional help. The kind that came with locked doors and visiting hours. But tomorrow I was going to show them both exactly who Rachel really was. I was going to show them the hotel charges. The secret phone calls. The man who'd shown up at the house last Tuesday when Michael was at work. The man Rachel had let inside. The man she'd kissed in the kitchen where I'd prepared 45 years of family meals. I had it all. Every piece of Rachel's affair. Every lie. Every scheme. Harold used to say the best security system was the one nobody knew about. The one that watched and waited and collected evidence while the bad guys thought they were getting away with it. That's how you catch them, he'd said. You let them think they've won. And then you show them the tape. I lay down on the bed. Closed my eyes. And for the first time since 3 a.m. I smiled. But then I heard something. A sound that didn't belong. Scratching. At my window. I opened my eyes. A shadow moved outside the glass. Someone was out there. My heart stopped. The shadow moved again. Slow. Deliberate. Someone was standing outside my first floor window at 4 a.m. I sat up slowly, keeping my breathing quiet, my eyes locked on the glass. The curtains were thin. White cotton. They moved slightly with the draft from the old window frame. Through them I could see the outline of a person. So, watching. My phone was still under my pillow. I reached for it carefully, my fingers closing around the cool metal. Should I call 911? Should I scream for Michael? But what if it was Rachel out there? What if this was part of her plan? Stage a break-in. Make me look even more paranoid. More confused. The crazy old woman who thinks someone's watching her. The shadow shifted. Moved closer to the window. I couldn't breathe. Then I heard it. A voice. Male. Familiar in a way that made my skin crawl. I know you're awake, Norma. Not Rachel. The man from the footage. The one she'd kissed in my kitchen. Rachel told me about the cameras. His voice was muffled through the glass but clear enough. She told me you've been spying on us. That's not very nice. That's actually pretty sick if you think about it. A lonely old woman watching her son's wife. Making up stories. My hand tightened on the phone. How did Rachel know about the cameras? Had she found them? Had she been looking? Here's what's going to happen, the man continued. You're going to delete that footage. All of it. And you're going to forget you ever saw anything. Because if you don't, he pressed something against the window. A phone. The screen was bright. And it was a photo of Michael. Walking to his car. Taken from across the street. Recent. Maybe yesterday. Accidents happen. Especially to people who work construction. Falls. Equipment malfunctions. Terrible, tragic accidents. Ice flooded my veins. They were threatening Michael. My son. My baby. You've got until tomorrow morning, the man said. The family meeting. You tell Michael you've been confused. You apologize to Rachel. You agree to see a doctor. You do all that like a good little grandma and your son stays safe. You cause problems. The photo disappeared. Another one replaced it. Michael's car. A close-up of the brake line underneath. Well, you seem like a smart woman. I'm sure you understand. The shadow pulled back. Footsteps in the grass. Moving away. Around the side of the house. Gone. I sat there in the dark, shaking so hard my teeth chattered. They'd threatened my son. They'd gone from trying to make me look crazy to threatening to kill Michael. Which meant I was right. About all of it. The affair. The scheme. Whatever Rachel was planning, it was bigger than just getting rid of me. She needed me discredited. Powerless. Out of the way. But I looked at my phone. At the downloaded footage waiting there. Evidence of everything. But evidence didn't matter if Michael was dead. I could go to the police. Show them the footage. Tell them about the man at my window. But what had he actually said? That accidents happen? That I should delete some footage? Nothing directly threatening. Nothing a lawyer couldn't explain away. And meanwhile Rachel would know I'd talked. Michael would be in danger before the police could do anything. I could tell Michael. Wake him up right now. Show him everything. But he was sleeping down the hall next to Rachel. If she suspected I'd told him if her boyfriend got spooked. Well, I had to be smarter. I had to think like Harold. Like a man who'd spent 30 years in security. Who'd taught me that the best way to catch a criminal was to let them think they were winning right up until the moment you closed the trap. I pulled up the security app again. Scrolled through the cameras. Found the one for the front of the house. Rewound to 15 minutes ago. There he was. The man. Walking up to my window. He was wearing a baseball cap. Jeans. Dark jacket. His face was angled down away from the camera like he knew it was there. But when he turned to leave. There. Just for a second. His face caught the porch light. I screenshot the image. Zoomed in. The quality wasn't great but it was enough. Enough to see he was younger than I'd thought. Maybe 35. Sandy hair. Thin face. A small scar on his left cheek. I saved the image. Backed it up to the cloud. Then I went back to the footage from Tuesday. The day he'd come to the house. Rachel had let him in through the front door. They'd gone to the kitchen. I turned the volume up, put the phone close to my ear. Can't keep doing this, Rachel was saying. Michael's mother is getting suspicious. So handle her. The man's voice was cold. Flat. That's what we agreed. You handle the family, I handle the business. She's not as stupid as she looks. She watches everything. Writes things down. Then maybe it's time for the old lady to have an accident too. Rachel had laughed at that. Actually laughed. No. That would make Michael suspicious. We need her to look senile. Incompetent. That way when she goes into a home nobody questions it. And when Michael sells this place and we take the money. Our money, the man corrected. Don't forget who planned this. Who found you? Who set this whole thing up? Rachel's voice went hard. I haven't forgotten anything, Derek. Including that I'm the one who has to sleep next to him every night. Who has to pretend to love him while you're off doing whatever. I'm building our future, Derek snapped. The insurance policy. The business accounts. All of it. You just have to keep Michael happy for a few more months. Then. The footage cut off there. They'd moved to another room. Out of the camera's range. But I'd heard enough. Insurance policy. Business accounts. They weren't just having an affair. They were planning to rob Michael. Maybe worse. My hands weren't shaking anymore. I was past fear now. Past shock. This was rage. Pure. Cold. Focused. They'd threatened my son. They'd threatened to kill him. And they thought I was just a confused old woman who would roll over and let it happen. I looked at the clock. 4:45 a.m. In a few hours Michael would wake up. We'd have the family meeting. Rachel would put on her concerned face. Derek would be somewhere watching, waiting to see if I fell in line. But I wasn't going to fall in line. I was going to end this. Today. No. I opened my email. Started typing. To Detective Sarah Chin, Fraud Division, Metro Police. I'd met Detective Chin 2 years ago when Harold's business partner had tried to embezzle funds. She'd been thorough. Professional. Kind. She'd given me her card and told me to call if I ever needed anything. I attached the footage. All of it. The basement. The threats. The conversation between Rachel and Derek. The screenshot of Derek's face. I wrote everything out. Every detail. Every moment. Then I stopped. Because if I sent this, if the police got involved now, Rachel and Derek would know. They'd panic. and panicked people did desperate things. Michael would be in danger. Unless I could get Rachel and Derek to confess. On camera. In front of Michael. Make them feel safe enough to tell the truth. I deleted the email. Saved it as a draft. Then I got dressed. Real clothes this time. Fox. A blouse. The pearl necklace Harold had given me on our 30th anniversary. If I was going into battle, I was going to look like myself. Not a confused old woman in a nightgown. The woman who'd raised 3 boys. Who'd helped Harold build a business from nothing. Who'd survived cancer and grief and 45 years in this house. At 6 a.m. I heard Michael's alarm go off. Heard him in the shower. Heard Rachel's voice, soft and concerned, asking if he'd slept okay. I made coffee. Set the table for 3. Put out Harold's good china. The plates we'd used for every important family meal. Thanksgiving. Christmas. Graduations. Michael came into the kitchen at 6:30. He stopped when he saw me. Mom. You're up early. I wanted to make breakfast. I gestured to the table. For our family meeting. He looked uncertain. You sure you're up for this? We can do it later if you're tired. I'm not tired. I poured him coffee. Added cream and 2 sugars the way he liked. Where's Rachel? Getting dressed. She'll be down in a minute. He sat at the table. Wrapped his hands around the mug. Mom, about last night. I've been thinking. Let's wait for Rachel, I said gently. This conversation should include everyone. He nodded. Looked relieved actually. Like he'd been dreading this. Rachel appeared 10 minutes later. She'd put on makeup. Done her hair. She looked perfect. Sympathetic. The concerned daughter-in-law ready to have a difficult conversation. Norma. She smiled. Soft. Said, thank you for making breakfast. That was sweet. Of course. I sat down across from them. Folded my hands on the table. Shall we start? Michael cleared his throat. Mom, we're worried about you. Rachel told me what happened last night. The whole story. And we think it might be time to talk to a doctor. Just to make sure everything's okay. What did Rachel tell you? I asked calmly. That you came into our bedroom. That you seemed confused. That you got upset when she tried to help. He reached across the table for my hand. Mom, there's no shame in it. Lots of people your age need a little extra help. Memory issues are normal. I don't have memory issues. Rachel's hand went to Michael's shoulder. Norma, I know this is hard to hear. But you do. You left the stove on last week. You forgot about your doctor's appointment 2 weeks ago. You've been writing strange things in that notebook. And last night you pushed me down the basement stairs, I said quietly. The room went still. Michael's face went white. What? That's ridiculous, Rachel said. But her voice was too sharp. Too fast. Norma, why would you say something like that? Because it's true. I looked at Michael. At my son. She pushed me down the stairs. Threatened me. Locked me in the basement. Then she pretended I'd wandered outside so you'd think I was losing my mind. Mom, that's crazy. Michael looked between us. Rachel would never. Show him, Rachel interrupted. Her eyes were locked on mine. Hard. Calculating. If I really did that, then show him. You have those cameras, don't you? Harold's old security system. I saw the bill. The monitoring service. So show him the footage. He was calling my bluff. He thought I wouldn't do it. Thought I'd cave under pressure. Or maybe she'd already figured out a way to discredit the footage. To explain it away. Hey, I said. I pulled out my phone. Opened the app. Found the basement footage. Wait. Rachel stood up abruptly. Michael, before she shows you whatever she's going to show you, there's something you should know. Something I should have told you sooner. Michael looked up at her. What? Your mother has been spying on us. For weeks. Maybe months. Those cameras, they're everywhere. In our bedroom. In the bathroom. Everywhere. She's been watching us. Recording us. Private moments. Intimate moments. Rachel's voice shook. Perfect. Rehearsed. I felt so violated when I found out. But I didn't want to say anything because I knew she was struggling. I wanted to be understanding. But this is too much. This is sick. That's not true, I said. But I could see Michael's face changing. Uncertainty creeping in. The cameras are in our bedroom, Michael, Rachel pressed. Ask her. Ask her if she's been watching us. The cameras are from Harold's business, I said carefully. They're safety devices. For security. Not for. But they can see into our bedroom, Rachel said. Can't they? He had me. Because yes, there was a camera in their bedroom. In every bedroom. Harold had installed them after the break-ins. We'd never thought about it being inappropriate because it was our house. Our family. But now Rachel was making it sound predatory. Twisted. Michael, I started. Is there a camera in our bedroom? He asked quietly. Yes. But. Have you watched footage from our bedroom? I hesitated. As I had. Looking for evidence of the affair. Looking for proof. That hesitation was all Rachel needed. Oh my God. She put her hand over her mouth. Michael, I feel sick. Your mother has been watching us in our most private moments. And now she's trying to make up stories about me to cover for her own. I wasn't watching you for that reason, I said. My voice was rising now. Desperate. I was looking for proof that Rachel is having an affair. The words hung in the air. Rachel's face went very still. Then she laughed. Disbelieving. An affair? That's what this is about. You think I'm having an affair? I know you are, I said. With a man named Derek. He came to the house last Tuesday. You kissed him in the kitchen. You've been planning to steal from Michael. To take his money. Maybe worse. Mom. Michael's voice was barely a whisper. Please stop. I have proof. I held up the phone. It's all here. Everything. The affair. The plans. Last night. All of it. Show me, Michael said. I pressed play. The basement footage began. Clear. Undeniable. Rachel pushing me. Her threats. The locked door. Michael watched. His face was unreadable. When it ended, he was quiet for a long moment. Then he looked at Rachel. You pushed her. Rachel's mask cracked. Just slightly. Michael, she was coming at me. I was scared. I reacted. You don't understand what it's been like living with her. The constant judgment. The accusations. Show him the rest, I said. The Tuesday footage. I switched to that video. Derek entering. The kiss. The conversation about insurance policies and money and getting rid of me. Michael's hands were shaking now. Who is that? His name is Derek, I said. He threatened you last night. Threatened to cause an accident. To hurt you if I didn't keep quiet. That's not. Rachel stood up. Michael, this is edited. She's manipulated these videos. This is exactly what I was afraid of. She's not well. She's paranoid and she's. The videos are backed up, I said calmly. Cloud storage. Time stamped. The police can verify they haven't been edited. Rachel's face went pale. Police. Michael looked at me. Then at Rachel. Someone explain to me what the hell is going on. I can explain. A new voice. We all turned. Derek was standing in the kitchen doorway. He had something in his hand. Something black. Metal. A gun. Nobody move, he said. Nobody touch their phones. Nobody does anything stupid. My heart stopped. This was it. The moment it all went wrong. I'd pushed too hard. Too fast. And now Michael was in danger. Real danger. Derek, what are you doing? Rachel's voice was sharp. We talked about this. You were supposed to wait. Plans change. Derek moved into the room. Kept the gun pointed at Michael. I told you we should have handled the old lady weeks ago. But you wanted to be clever. You wanted to play games. Now look where we are. Put the gun down, Michael said. His voice was steady. Strong. Whatever's going on, we can talk about this. We're past talking. Derek glanced at Rachel. Get their phones. All of them. Rachel didn't move. She was looking at Michael. To my son. And something was happening on her face. Something I didn't expect. Regret. Rachel, Derek snapped. Yow. No, she said quietly. What? I said no. Rachel looked at Derek. This wasn't supposed to happen like this. Nobody was supposed to get hurt. You think I care what was supposed to happen? Derek's voice was rising. You got sloppy. You got caught. Now we clean up the mess or we go to prison. There's another option, I said. Everyone looked at me. I stood up slowly. Kept my voice calm. You put the gun down. You leave. Rachel stays here and tells Michael everything. The truth. All of it. She cooperates with the police. You get a head start. Maybe you even get away. Derek laughed. Why would I do that? Because right now you're guilty of trespassing. Threats. Maybe fraud. But if you hurt anyone, if you fire that gun, it's attempted murder. Life in prison. I took a step closer. You're young. You could start over. New city. New name. But if you do this, if you hurt my son, you'll never be free again. I could see him thinking. Calculating. The gun wavered slightly. She's right, Rachel said. Her voice was quiet. Derek, please. Just go. Both of us. Right now. We can still. You're not going anywhere, Michael said. He was standing now too. Either of you. The police are already on their way. Derek's eyes widened. What? Michael held up his phone. The screen was lit. A call in progress. I called them 15 minutes ago, he said. When Mom started setting up this breakfast. I had a feeling something was wrong. The phone's been in my pocket this whole time. They've heard everything. The sound of sirens in the distance. Getting closer. Derek's face went white. Then red. The gun came up. Pointed at Michael. Everything happened at once. I threw myself forward. Grabbed for the gun. My hands closed around cold metal. The gun went off. The sound was deafening. Ringing in my ears. Pain in my shoulder. Hot. Wet. But I didn't let go. Michael was there then. His hands on Derek's arm. Twisting. The gun clattered to the floor. Rachel screamed. The front door burst open. Police. Shouting. Bodies everywhere. Someone was pressing something against my shoulder. The pain was incredible. Blinding. Mom. Mom, stay with me. Michael's face above mine. Tears in his eyes. You're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. I know, I whispered. I know, sweetheart. Because I'd done it. I'd protected my son. I'd caught them. I'd won. The last thing I saw before the paramedics took me was Rachel in handcuffs. Her face was a mess of makeup and tears. She was saying something. Apologizing. Explaining. Making excuses. But Michael wasn't listening to her. He was holding my hand. Coming with me in the ambulance. Choosing me. The way I always knew he would. 3 months later, I was back in the kitchen. My shoulder still ached when it rained, but the doctor said I'd been lucky. The bullet had gone through. Muscle damage. Nothing permanent. Michael had sold the house. Too many bad memories, he said. We'd moved together into a smaller place across town. 2 bedrooms. A garden. Room for Michael's workshop. Rachel and Derek were both in jail awaiting trial. Conspiracy to commit fraud. Attempted murder. The evidence from the cameras had been overwhelming. The police had found everything. The fake insurance policies Derek had taken out on Michael. The business accounts he'd drained. The plan to make me look incompetent so they could have me declared unfit and take control of the house and Michael's inheritance. Detective Chin told me Rachel had been working with Derek for over a year. They'd met online. He'd convinced her to seduce Michael, marry him, get access to his assets. It was all a con. A setup. Michael had just been a mark. I'm sorry, Michael had said one night. For not believing you sooner. For letting her. You loved her, I'd said. There's no shame in that. He was good at lying. That's what con artists do. You could have been killed. But I wasn't. I'd squeezed his hand. We're okay. We're safe. That's what matters. Now, standing in the new kitchen making coffee the way I'd done for 45 years, I thought about Harold. About what he'd said about security systems. About watching and waiting and catching the bad guys on tape. He'd been right. About all of it. My phone buzzed. A text from Detective Chin. Asterisk verdict came in. Both guilty. Rachel got 15 years. Derek got 25. Silver. Asterisk. I showed Michael. He read it. Nodded. Didn't say anything. You okay? I asked. Yeah. He smiled. Tired but real. Yeah, Mom. I'm okay. I believed him. Because we were okay. Both of us. Together. And if I'd learned anything from this nightmare, it was that family, Real family, was worth fighting for. Even at 3 in the morning. Even in the basement. Even when it seemed like the whole world was trying to convince you that you were crazy. Harold used to say the best security system was the one nobody knew about. But I'd learned something better. The best security system was a mother who refused to give up. And that was something no camera could ever capture.